Greetings, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we've got second half of my doubleheader. This is a recorded game between Team Canada and Team Australia. Max Goldman provided the video on this one, so we'll be watching from Team Canada's side. Since it's a team game, I've sped it up to double speed. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. And here's our video. So, Team Canada here with a pretty nice hand. Some blue cards to navigate, but decall and duck, always nice. 5-year plan Middle East, also nice. With decall, you probably don't want to worry about the Middle East, so I expect here that NORAD will be spaced. You want to get CNS off. You want to space NORAD. You want to use duck for the event. Give up the 1 VP, maybe 2. And then probably will give US Japan as well. But yeah, that's a pretty good hand. A little bit challenging. Decall in the headline would certainly be huge to get that off. But getting it defected is always a disaster, particularly so with this hand. So, C5? I don't understand that. Okay, I mean, I would have, boy. Okay, so Team Canada already making a play I disagree with, but it gets defected. I would have headlined CNS, certainly. I would have wanted the 2 ops of C5, especially because we're getting access in Asia anyway. But maybe they were really worried about defectors and want to get CNS off. But now we've kind of got to stop everything to get CNS off. And so, yeah, I think at this point I think you just duck coup Iran. Oh my goodness. Sorry, folks. Having some technical issues. I apologize for the delay. Sorry about that. Let me see if we're going to have that problem anymore. Okay, let's just go ahead. And get back to our double speed. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Cambridge 5 was headlined against defectors. With this hand, a tricky hand like this, I like preserving my ops, and I would have headlined CNS, but we'll see how it works out for them. At this point, if I were Canada, I would go with a duck coup of Iran. I think that makes the most sense. Lower DEFCON to 3, and then you decall, attacking both Thailand and France. Plus, you're going to need to give duck anyway. With NORAD and USJ in your hand. Oh, and a miss on Iran. So we'll see how Team Australia wants to take advantage of that. Now they'll want to spread out of Iran, get into Pakistan. They'll want to go Malaysia. They'll want to go France. Because the duck coup of Iran strongly suggests an access card and one that will be played imminently. And yes, JR, I also love Team Australia's name. Duck in Kaaba. So the video speed may be a little. The video quality may not be that great because I'm doing double speed. So I'm sure Team Canada not too pleased that their coup missed, but they are happy that they're about to decall. Okay, big 4 op. That should fix Iran. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. A little surprised at the 1 Egypt, but it makes sense. Okay, yes, Thailand for sure. Algeria for sure. Then what? Do you go Indonesia here? And then Angola? Do you go Nigeria, Angola? If you go Nigeria, Angola, I think, well, no. Because if you go Nigeria, Angola, then, and, okay, South Africa? Yeah, so you could just go three in Africa. You could go Nigeria, Angola, Algeria. Oh, Burma, interesting, to threaten India. Doesn't take Asia Dom, but does put another threat on the board. And that's what they'll lock in. Okay, so Thailand and France both attacked here, and Team Australia can save one, but not both. I think I would probably save France. If I had a 4-op, I'd probably go 3 France, 1 Thailand. Given that Team Australia is pretty well positioned. Yes, Tim. Saharan states would have been an interesting choice. Not an awful choice, I guess, because it does give you access to both battlegrounds. But yeah, I think you want access directly to France. That seems better. So here we go. The Australians already used a 4-op. Okay, just a 3. That makes sense. We'll see what they do here. Going to go 2 France. Just going to go 3 France. Okay. So that suggests, oh wow, and Team Canada going to give NORAD right away. Probably figuring that Australia has too much to do to think about filling Canada. Yeah, I think this is the. I think if you're going to do this, this is the. Okay. This makes some sense as well. The only downside is it doesn't give you Asia Dom. And this is a point where if I were Team Australia and I had Asia, I would certainly score it. I think this is better. But the problem is if you're going to give US Japan, you need to get at least a couple into South Korea. I think I'd rather give US Japan than NORAD, but I guess they're probably in a situation where they're going to have to give both to kind of defend this decall. So, okay. Team Australia in a little bit of trouble here early. Certainly, I have to think if Team Australia had Asia, they would score it right here. Since they don't, they need to take Pakistan, probably step into India, might want to secure France as well. We'll have a little chicken game going on, and no, that's a good question. I am not sure who is on Team Australia. Also, I am sorry, T Stark 3000, but I am not recalling who you are. So perhaps you could let me know about that because I'm a little embarrassed about that. I know you're a frequent viewer, so thank you for your viewership. Thank you, JR, as well. It's an interesting start here. Okay, another big four up. Pakistan. Oh, just going to take NORAD right away. That's interesting. DEFCON likely to drop to 2 here. NORAD, not particularly useful on turn 1. I don't know if I would have filled Canada right away. I might have gone into India instead. The Canadians quickly go to space. And then I assume they will do the Japan South Korea trade, maybe putting the extra in India. Thailand needs overprotecting. Don't necessarily need to get presence in the Middle East because you're going to 5-year plan it away. But yeah, having 7 ops here is nice. I expect to see. I would expect to see an AR6 coup from Team Australia so that Team Canada can't just step right into Angola and Zaire. I also would expect to see, yeah, that's reasonable. The other thing I'd expect to see is Team Australia could have gone 1 Angola, poke Thailand. And if they do that, Team Canada has a tough choice. If they coup, they lose Thailand. And if they protect Thailand, then Australia gets to coup and keep Angola and Zaire. So I would have liked the poke, the walk and poke. Yeah. Now, this is a lot of work being done in Asia. This would be an easy Asia domination for Team Canada with 1 pip higher on the Iran roll, but since they missed, going to be a bit of a challenge for them. Poke and walk was my nickname. All right, Timmy. Okay. All right, going to space Fidel, miss the roll. Now we'll see a 5-year plan of Middle East, which I assume is going to secure India, Burma, and overprotect Thailand. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So Team Australia, now they need mill-ops. So I would expect a coup here of Algeria. That would a 2-op coup there saves them 3 VPs, potentially gets them out of Algeria, also would get mill-ops. Excuse me, I also would activate NORAD. So, okay, and yeah, got to overprotect France with Europe attack cards coming. And indeed, Team Canada draws SOC Govs, which is the immediate headline here. Nasser also makes some sense. But Middle East is scored, and that's less important. Defectors is gone. It was headline turn 1. Yeah, JR likes breaking Korea, which is usually a good NORAD play in the early war, but in this case doesn't stop Dom, where overprotecting France is important, and in fact probably just saved France. Unless we see a Marshall headline. I would have overprotected France, but of course I always overprotect France. IP war also a big draw for Team Canada. But it's going to be interesting if they just take the AR1 coup, then they're going to lose Angola and Zaire. Team Australia could not come up with the poke and walk. Now, of course, if they had poked and walked, they would have gotten cooed in Angola here. But they might have also gotten Lao. And Team Canada would have had to spend some time dealing with the threat in Asia. Okay, so Team Canada with 5 countries in Asia to just 3 for Australia. They can Team Australia could take Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines uncontested to get them to 6 countries. They could take Afghanistan to get them to 7 if needed. So they should be able to stop this Asia Dom if they have the scoring in their hand. They should be able to get off a Europe Dom if they have that scoring in their hand, particularly with Truman around and unseen. Marshall is the obvious headline here. with containment, purge, and defectors all gone. CIA not very good here. Marshall, I think, would be best, but they are not playing like people who have Marshall. Already, the Team Australia, already almost 17 minutes gone by, and just turn 1 played. So yeah, over 17 minutes now. Off the clock. They'll need to speed things up later if this one goes. Oh, and they're just going to headline Asia. That is brutal. That's brutal, folks. Oh my goodness. So they didn't think they were going to be able to fight off this Dom, and that suggests that their hand is terrible. A simple 3-op into Afghanistan and Malaysia stops Dom. Even if Team Canada takes Laos and Vietnam, then just a 2-op takes Indonesia and Philippines, and it's even again. So that suggests they've got some problems. And yeah, so Team Canada puts 2 in West Germany. I don't understand why that wasn't the headline. I do not understand why that was not the headline. I also do not understand why Team Canada did not immediately play NATO, but I guess I answered my own question. Because they assumed without the Marshall headline that they don't have Marshall. So perhaps a mistake there by Team Canada. Okay, Canada now going to take the coup. Australia now gets the NORAD op, which presumably goes into West Germany. But since Team Canada went into Angola, they'll keep Angola and Zaire. So West Germany, they also want to lock down Algeria. There's the NORAD op, West Germany. Just Truman, and that gives Dom back. Okay. And now Algeria. Yep, okay. This makes sense. You take Algeria. You do need to get presence in the Middle East. I would have gone Zaire instead of that second in Iraq, but it works fine. There it is. I don't like drawing my opponent's attention to the Middle East like that. Putting a second in Iraq often tempts your opponent to put 1 in there before you take control, which is just annoying. But okay. The Australians get their Europe Dom off. They space, they hit that roll, so they're down 2. Now Nasser evens up the Middle East because the Australians did not get a second into Egypt. And then IP War would be a nice hold for Team Canada, but since they played UN, had to UN NATO, I assume they'll trigger it here. I think you just try the war. If you're not going to try the war, you could overprotect East Germany, so an EEU headline doesn't leave you presenceless. You could take Laos. I'm very confused why they did not simply headline Marshall. Okay, going to overprotect. Going to take Laos and overprotect Algeria because they're worried about NORAD. 1 Thailand here, if the Australians have a 2-op, is interesting with NORAD in effect. A little confused by that Asia headline, but okay. And there's Vietnam. Yeah, and I like this play. Okay, here we are, turn 3, and an Asia and Middle East redraw. Oh, and a D-stall pickup for Team Canada. That's huge. SOC Govs, very strong to once again stop NORAD. Purge is annoying, but not an epic disaster, I don't think. You just take the coup. In Libya, yeah, you need a 5 here. They don't get it. Neither of these, both these scorings are redraws. D-stall is not a redraw, but there's nothing that the Australians can do about it. Yeah, Asia quickly scored. No brainer there. Presumably we'll score the Middle East next. There's no real rush to destall, barring a 5-year plan that grabs it. You need to destall before independent Reds, though, obviously. So the purge will help Team Australia because there's not going to be much in the way of spreading out in South America. So destall presumably goes Nigeria, Venezuela, Chile, maybe Brazil, probably Brazil. There's a case to be made for Indonesia. And they had to keep the Comic-Con ops out of the Independent Reds countries. Independent Reds known in Team Canada's hand anyway. Yeah, Team Canada needs to re-overprotect Thailand. Now, Team Australia should be looking at trying to jam here. I would jam to try and stop a destall. That is not much of a threat. I don't think we were going into Mexico anyway. And that just encourages a play into Nigeria. I would have liked to see something like a Thailand jam, which potentially forces. Yeah, this is the right destall. But yeah, that's kind of an issue for Team Canada because they want to destall quickly, and that would force them to spend ops fixing Thailand, as opposed to where they want to be spending ops, which is in South America. But, okay. But now just 4 ops in Team Canada's hands at this point, and they may trigger AI War to pick up another VP, potentially 3. So Indy Reds presumably goes to Argentina. AI War could be an event, and then containment maybe takes Venezuela and Brazil. So Middle East has scored once for 0. It was also 5-year planned. Europe scored once for US Dom, but Asia has scored twice for Team Canada, and that so far has been the difference in this one. Oh, and a quick realign. The Independent Red. Oh, and another hit on the realign. Wow. He misses on that one. Okay. So, yeah, the Independent Reds op had to go to overprotecting Thailand, which makes sense. Yeah, and there's AR6. So there's containment. And so so Argentina left empty here. And I don't think there was much could be done. Okay, special takes Nigeria, Algeria, and re-engages NORAD. Okay, so 11 VP lead for Team Canada heading into the mid-war. Team Canada behind in Africa, behind in Europe. Middle East is even but scored, and the U.S. should get an advantage there. Asia, they are Team Canada well ahead, but it is also scored. Some problems here in the Soviet hand. Allende is nice, but not really needed. Unless, of course, we see a VOA headline. But yeah, the Pope, CRG, and grain in hand here. CRG is a problem. The Pope, less of an issue, but with NORAD, potentially a problem. Could be looking at a Brezhnev headline here. OPEC is 3 at the moment. You might want the 4 ops if you're Canada. I'm thinking hard about this headline. Brezhnev makes sense. I think Brezhnev would be my play. Yeah, and there's OAS. So OAS could just go to Nigeria, but then you're just handing over a coup target. Excuse me, to Argentina, but then you're just handing over a coup target. Yeah, I think this is better, and I think you just allow the coup. Oh, okay. That's another option, is you just coup in Africa, stop Dom there. You're giving up a South American battleground for sure, but you're giving up Argentina or Brazil, but you'll keep the other. Yeah, I don't mind a 2-op coup in Africa. Now, folks, remember. Actually, no, that would not be a good play. A coup in Africa here with NORAD in effect. If Team Australia has a 4-op, they can put their NORAD op into Brazil and then use the 4-op to take Argentina and Brazil. That would be a disaster for Team Canada. So very understandable that they would not like that. So yeah, I don't think you can take a coup here if you're Canada. And so they're just going to retake their battlegrounds and overprotect Angola, inviting perhaps a Zaire coup. Could see an Argentina coup, could see a Venezuela coup, but I think you just take the coup here if you are the Australians. Unless you have South America, in which case maybe you'd think about doing something different. Australians already under an hour to go. 90-minute clocks here, so 9 minutes per turn. Australians behind. Team Canada a few minutes ahead of schedule. Bear trap for the coup, and they're going big in South America, and they will hit. Okay, this I'm wondering if this should just be Brazil or Chile. Yeah, they're going to go Brazil. Yeah, and I think this is 1 Brazil, maybe 1 Colombia. I'm going to go 2 Chile. So this does give the Australians the opportunity to dump South America if they have it for just 1. Looks like that's not what they're going to do. And if they're not going to do that, I might set up real lines. Oh, well, taking 3 VPs is also nice. OPEC could also take those 3 VPs back. And instead, yeah, you think about taking Chile and Peru, both to take Dom and to prevent realigns. Given the Pope, Warsaw gone. Yeah, always tricky. See what the Canadians eventually decide on. Okay, they go Chile and Uruguay as opposed to Chile and Peru to threaten Argentina. rather than protect Chile. This should lead to Paraguay being taken. Should. See if it does. We'll also see if it leads to Poland being contested. Europe is unscored. Ballsy play right now would be to take a 4-op and stick it in Poland. Allow the realigns in South America. Suez will not stop Dom, so it's hardly guilt free, but it doesn't stop Dom. Yeah, this is the play. It's Paraguay. You could go Peru here. Yeah, no, they're just going to go Paraguay. I was going to say you could go Peru here and say, hey, you want to realign Argentina? Great. I'll just go back in, unless you also realign Chile at even, and they could kick out their own influence. Okay, and then a quick coup here by Canada to get their mill-ops. That makes sense. Stops Africa Dom as well. Threatens Nigeria, and there's CIA for a coup back. Anything but a 1. Oh, that's a big 1. And this, to me, would be a flip. Isn't that a flip of Nigeria? With OPEC? Little surprised. Little surprised they didn't even think about a flip of Nigeria. Ooh, brush. That's going to hit Panama. It will, and just enough. It's the only target on the board where that would have worked, other than Egypt, which obviously nobody's brushing Egypt at this stage of the game. I still think OPEC flipping Nigeria is quite reasonable. I think that's worth more than 3 VPs. That would be my play. I would have overprotected Nigeria immediately to prevent that rather than going with brush, unless, of course, I had Central America scoring. I'd like to see Team Australia. Ooh, that's annoying. Got to get that off to space, and they'll miss the roll. I'd like to see Team Australia take Peru. Taking Peru and Colombia, both, would stop Dom in South America. So that might be a decent play for them. Oh, Camp David event. Yeah, I think that's a card you need to event as well. Okay, so here we go to turn 5, and this is a pretty nice hand. Junta's the headline, which can give you inroads into Central America and dodge NORAD. I think that's an immediate headline. And then Quagmire gets you out of NORAD permanently, but I think that can wait till later in the turn. Gunman, you'll just shuffle right back into the deck. This might be a situation where you want to give Usuri and Nixon. Use Usuri to give up the China card, give it away. Then use Nixon, give up the 2 VPs, get both bad China events out, and get the ops from them. Yeah, streamboo.com. No thanks. Okay, Lads is less than intimidating as a headline. I think this is just Panama coup Panama, right? I think that's all it is. with -1 on the coup. Yeah, you could get aggressive and go Argentina. Oh, but they roll a 6. Oh my goodness, I was just about to say, yeah, no reason to go Argentina because it doesn't do anything unless you roll a 6. But sure enough, they roll the 6. That is an enormous 6. And okay, Australia goes to space quickly. They fail. Oh, what a terrible sequence there for the Australians. And Team Canada probably happy to see Willie Brandt spaced there. Suggests they don't have any more problem cards in their hand. So no cards they love to discard to Quagmire. Oh, and they miss a roll. Losing NORAD, missing a roll. Now they're going to lose France. What a nightmare. And they'll dump How I Learned and get out, but that'll flip over France. And now, oh boy. So heading into this turn, Team Australia had Dom in Europe. They had presenceless Dom in Central America, and they at least had presence in South. Now, the Canadians have flipped Panama, they've flipped Argentina, and they've flipped France. Just a disastrous turn 5. For the Australians. And they are in huge trouble now. The 3 is their best region at the moment. And Team Canada pulls 2 back by hitting the space roll. Yeah, so you're giving up China either way. I think you just give Ussuri here. Flipadelphia. Oh man. And that's brutal. So had Central and South in hand, and the Asao Junta as the headline, which immediately flipped Panama and Argentina on AR1. Just a horrific turn for Team Australia. Maybe a game-losing one with Africa still to come. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. Alex, welcome to the show. Yeah, this was a pretty close game. This was a pretty close game heading into this turn. And that turn really was a disaster for the Canadians. But we move on. Europe scoring here in the Canadian hand. They do not... So Missile Envy, I believe, is safe. We Will Bury You is gone. South African is a nice headline, doesn't do a ton. Yeah, there's ABM. So ABM presumably has got to coup in Africa. You need just a monster roll. Oh, they're going to go Thailand. Surprising. I would have thought you'd take your shot in Africa, but I guess this makes sense. Force Canada to fix Thailand. Okay, so Canada now going to use a 4-op to poke Algeria and fix Thailand. So now the Canadians, if they want, can flip Thailand with China. Oh, no, they can't because obviously of missile envy. So they have to coup. And then the Canadians will flip Algeria. Oh, and they'll also pick up the extra VP. Wouldn't you rather flip Algeria than Zaire? I guess maybe you're worried about realigns in Angola. But if you're worried about, but no, they can't be worried about real lines in Angola. You got SAU, so you can just event SAU, get right back in. Okay, so the Australians need to take back Algeria, potentially stop Dom. If they have a four-op, taking Algeria and flipping Zaire back makes sense. The Canadians are not going to get Europe Dom here, but they should get one from Europe. They might get two from IP War. They're knocking on the door. They'll probably. I think you probably would want to give up the two VPs of Nixon to get it out with cultural around, but maybe you wouldn't. Maybe they're gonna hold it or space it. You could space it to get headline peak. Oh, they're not going to hold it because they played UN. So 4 ARs left. They got to play everything. I would rather use Nixon for this. I think. I think I'd just use Nixon for this. Potentially leave the door open to a venting South African. Seems unlikely you're going to win the game this turn, even if you score an Africa down that's only 19. I think you give up the two VPs, get it out of the deck. Yeah, I like this. I think you coup Cameroon here. Okay, they hit the coup. They do not get Dom out of it, so Australians can dump, and they do. Another VP for Europe, and it's back to 15. So Canada quickly pulls back the two they gave away with Nixon. Okay, now everything other than Southeast Asia is scored as we get ready to head to turn 7. There's Southeast Asia to, oh man, Team Canada really in control here. Just that nightmare of a turn. Turns 5 really did it. Okay, Salt for a VP and ABM to realign France. Okay. Okay, pretty nice hand here. VOA is spaceable. CRG is a bit of an annoying redraw, but it's manageable. Nuke Sub's a little bit annoying as well, but you can get an AR7. You also get Cultural, so you can take back China. Muslims is quite annoying. Not huge at this moment, though. Sadat is known in the Australian hand. And Fidel, very important card here, is going to flip Central Dom. 7 VP swing there. So yeah, Fidel's big. But DEFCON is at 5, so let's keep that in mind. Fidel very strong here. Both bad China events gone, and certainly you know that the Australians are headlining ABM. And with that, they're going to realign France. Question is, what else are they going to realign? Not a lot of other targets out there for them, but they really need to flip France. You really don't need to be worried about defectors here. I think Fidel is fine. Muslims, huh? 1-5. Okay, there's the 5-1. So they do flip France, rolling at +4. Now what is the question? Oh, they do go Iraq, and they get to couple out. Okay, and yeah, I think if you're Canada, you just fill those back up, keep DEFCON at 5. Now you're giving up 2 coups. But I think they're okay with that, to just pick up those 2 countries along with eventually Cuba. Here's defectors. Okay, they'll take the coup on Angola. Assume we'll just see a coup back and then another coup. Oh, a realign of Pakistan makes some sense. Yeah, I think a realign of Egypt also makes sense at +2. Yeah, I think the issue with the coup is if you don't roll at least a 4, yeah, now you're getting couped again in Africa. So you're going to lose 2 African battlegrounds. So this should be a Zaire coup, I would assume. Maybe Nigeria. Yep, they're going to coup with Duck on Zaire. They'll hit that roll. Okay, so now, okay, VOA's got to get spaced. We should see Sadat here. We all, the Australians also know the Team Canada has cultural. This could be a situation where you jam the heck out of North Korea. Country count stands at 7-6, so jamming North Korea would stop Dom. I believe Cultural Fidel nuke subs all known. Okay, and there's Kennedy for ops. Wow. Yeah, this will just, and that's a huge flip in Central. That's 3 red. That's 3 blue to 4 red. It's a 7 VP swing if the scoring were to come right now. Space of decall. No, they don't. They don't want to play China. I don't really understand. Yeah, just take the 2. Just put the 2 in the battleground. Yeah, that's better. C5 still just making Canada play cultural to take China. I would have liked to use it, but okay. They're going to just take Afghanistan to stop the Dom. They don't need to figure they don't need to use China. There's Sadat, no surprise there. Oh, and they're gonna flip Pakistan with China and just hand it right back. Wow, that's a gutsy play. Now, 2s are still spaceable for Canada, but I believe CIA is around. So this is quite aggressive. But okay, they're going to steal China and then give it right back. Country count still now 7-6. No, excuse me. It is now 8-6. So we need to see, would need to see a flip of Lao here. I'm going to poke and retake South Africa. Okay, and this hand is absolute garbage. Oh my goodness. All right. Complete garbage in the Canadian hand. Grain, nuke subs, and CRGs. Woof. Grain is at least spaceable unless we see a purge. Libs is nice. I'm going to headline Gunman. Reagan Bombs just picks up 1 VP. That's not too huge. And there's war games. Okay. So no war games for Team Canada. Yeah, we will bury you and OPEC sitting there, but also UN. So not a particularly easy hand. And Canada's going to try the coup, and they'll miss. Got to retake Pakistan, which makes sense. Now, at some point here, I believe Max told me the video cuts out. So we will switch to the other video very soon. CRGs is definitely annoying now. It's definitely problematic. Nuke subs is a problem because you could give up control in Africa. Yeah. Fidel, really huge. Turn 7. Big ops here in the Australian hand. Okay, and that's going to do it for this video. So hold on, folks. Let me swap to the next video, and we will get the rest of this game. Okay. So here we are. They're going to space OPEC. We missed the. They played Iron Lady, not they probably which probably took Israel, I think, to even out the Middle East. Space of OPEC misses. Canadians are going to space grain. They will hit. Now 2 is no longer spaceable. But the most problematic 2 is gone, and Star Wars not close to being active. So Canada with a 15 VP lead and 3 DOMs on the board. Team Australia with lots of ops in their hand, but not much in the way of events. Team Canada with kind of a garbage hand here the rest of the way. Yeah, Kitchen's certainly not active. Not sure what was important about Southeast African states. AI war takes a coup. They're just going to fight over Africa Dom here. Yeah, they knew they had to give up Che. There's just a 1 on Guatemala. I assume we'll see a coup back of whatever this coup's. I'm a little confused why both of those weren't spent in Africa. But I guess Guatemala makes sense because it makes libs more painful. It should just be a coup back in... Okay, no Zimbabwe. Going to go Cameroon, and they will eat... lose a VP on that. Overprotecting is fine. We've got a 16 VP lead. Let's overprotect stuff. Yeah, and I think you give nuke subs here. You know, you can potentially concede Africa control, which is not so good. But you also would pick up a VP if you did that. There's war games. Okay, gonna retake Dom. Set up, potentially realigns on Nigeria if Cameroon gets cooed. Important. Allow flip here is important. Country count 8 to 6 in Asia. Allow flip stops Dom. Interesting. Going to give CRGs rather than give nuke subs. Might be holding nuke subs for DEF CON problems. In case they're worried about a card like Teardown. Even with grain gone. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think you got to overprotect there. But yeah, and now you take Lao back, and so if they want to spend three in Burma, can stop Dom in Asia. Yeah, CRG is definitely annoying there. Nigeria also realignable now at +1, so we could see Nigeria realigned from Saharan and Ivory Coast. UN of We Will Bury You going to be influence, going to jam South Korea, okay. With Canada suggesting that their hand not too good. Yeah, this seems fine to me. So South Korea can now, or excuse me, Australia can use China to take back South Korea if they want, but Dom has been stopped temporarily. Timmy, Magic players are a special breed, aren't they? Okay, and there's the hostage crisis. Doesn't do anything for the Iran situation, but terrorism is doubled. And okay, here is a nice hand. Wow, Purge, Missile Envy with We Will Bury You gone. Another 4-op in Glasnost. Alliance is basically free and could be free if you poke Mexico with it. And 5-year plan with no other problem cards and lets you just dump the card of your choice, which is probably nuke subs. Wow, what a hand. So I think this is probably going to be a pretty easy purge. Could be Missile Envy, though. We'll see what they come up with. Scoring Asia is GG. Scoring Asia for Dom. A matter of fact, Scoring Asia, no, they need to get the Dom. Asia right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, just 2. Oh yeah, and there's never mind. There's Glasnost for 2 and Asia for 2 is GG. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, so nicely done by Team Canada. They improve, I believe, to 1-0 now in the Nations Cup. Team Australia struggles a bit here. Not much they could do to get going, but congratulations to the Canadians on their victory here, and thank you to Max Goldman for sending over this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And Team USA will be. I haven't scheduled any of those games yet. We did just beat Greece, and so we got more games to schedule. But yeah, that's going to do it. So, not sure when I will be back next, but working on scheduling more. But until next time, that was fun. It's Justin Abramson signing off. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.